Hey y'all, I'm laying in bed. My children are still asleep. Um, but this is gonna be a story time. I'm gonna try to make it short as possible. But this is the time where one of my neighbors, she made my life a living hell, and I want to call her all kind of bees, all kind of shit. So at that time I wasn't married. I had two children at that time, and I stayed in the hood at that time. I had just moved in town from staying with my sister. That didn't work out, and that's going to be another story time. I have so many stories to tell. So I think I had to stay with my mama at the time. And then after that, I applied for these apartments and I got approved and I moved in. At the time of moving in, I wasn't really dating anybody at the time. It was just me and my two children. They're 18 and 17 now. So at that time, they was in Head Start for, well, they both was in Head Start. So one was going on 4 at that time, and one was going on 5. So yeah, that was a couple of years ago. So at that time, we moved in. I didn't have any furniture yet, and the neighbors that was above me, it was like 2 stories, like first floor above you, second floor. So at that time, the biatch that made my life a living hell, she wasn't living up there yet. It was somebody else. So I think about a year went by, maybe or two. Those neighbors moved out. This neighbor moves in, her and her boyfriend. At that time, she has 2 little children as well. At that time, my children, they got her children about 2, 3 years older than her children, because about 2, 3 years had passed. 1 or 2 years, I think, had passed before the other neighbors moved in. So my children was, let me see, hers was, yeah, my children was going on like 6, 7. You could say something like that. So, come to find out, she knew my boyfriend at that time. I had started talking to somebody. At that time, I'm talking to somebody. When I did get married to this person, but not at that time. So I was soon to find out she knew who my boyfriend was at that time. So she gave me a look. I ain't gonna lie. When he introduced me to her, and she was dark skinned like me as well. So when he introduced me to her, she made a face. You know, it was like one of those like I don't give a f who she is. Like it was giving off a little irritant when he introduced me to her. It was like she used to support him because he was a Black Panther member. Um, at that time, I got a story time for him marrying a fucking Black Panther member. But anyway, moving along. She wasn't happy to meet me, and I didn't really bring it to his attention then because I just brushed the shit off. But sooner or later, me and her we got close. We started to get close. We just started to talk more because, like I said, she knew my boyfriend, and we just started to chill. And I thought after we spoke, I thought that me and her would be cool. So, as time goes on, you know, children making a lot of noise. I mean, it's like unbearable noise. Now, keep in mind, her children was smaller than mine. Okay? So, yes, children gonna make noise. So, I think I asked her, I had sat her down, me and her was talking, and I said, hey, can you keep it in a little bit, especially when my children trying to sleep? We'll do the same down here. If we too loud, let us know. And she would respond like, yeah, I'll stop the noise. My bad. My children, they wild and they little. And I was like, I understand. But can you just try to, keep the noise down just a little bit? And we agreed if she ever allowed that I tap the ceiling. Right? So, as time go on, the noise never stopped. It's like she never tried to stop it. She didn't care to stop it. So, then me and my boyfriend, we actually talked to her again. Probably 2 or 3 times. And she was talking trash. Mind you, I'm 8 years older than this girl. At that time, I'm either 29 or 30, and she's 8 years younger than me. So yeah, she was like my little sister to me. So we trying to talk to her. We trying to tell her, hey, look, you know, can you not let them throw big balls down, like, like running, because her children would be just running through the apartment. And imagine you trying to sleep and you constantly hearing that. You try to have grace. You know what I'm saying? We was trying to give her grace. But at that time, it seemed like she wasn't even trying to stop them. And the walls were so thin, you could hear everything. You could hear everything. So, there were times when she was fighting with her boyfriend. Constantly fighting. We hearing everything. Tussling, fighting. So we had to endure a lot in that apartment. So, she just would never stop. And it became, to my knowledge, that she was doing it on purpose. So, this went on for, I think, months. Now, remember I said I stayed in some apartments. At that time, it was public housing. So, I went to the rent office. Because once I said something to you once, I said something to you twice, I'm hitting the ceiling, I'm having conversations with you, but you're not stopping the noise at all. I go to the office, I make a complaint. I put the complaint in, and you can tell when the office said something to her because she started to stop with the noise, right? Lord have mercy. This story gonna get worse. You hear me? It's gonna get worse. So I don't think this is gonna be. I don't really believe this is gonna be one part. If it is one part, it may be an hour or so, or 2 hours. Um. So you can tell the office said something to her. You could tell because she started getting quiet. But this is what she started to do. It would be quiet during the daytime, right? And when I would go to sleep, me and my children, we started hearing things being thrown to the floor. And we was like, what? Because, you in a deep sleep, your children sleep, and you hear something drop on the floor. So I didn't think nothing of it. I just was like, oh, one of her children got up, and they playing with the toys. We just ignored that because she does have children, right? So I'm like, what the fuck? We ignored it. We would wake up, go outside, and it would be trash on my porch. Like crab juice, crab legs. Like somebody from upstairs would throw their crab and trash and it would land. Now mind you, it was a neighbor next door to me downstairs as well. But the trash would be directly on my porch, like directly on my door. It was on purpose because if you pouring something down, it's gonna splatter by my neighbor door because our doors are closed. So somebody made a point to pour trash in front of my door. I'm like, what the hell? You looking around like, what? I'm like, oh my God. So I don't even think I said nothing to this neighbor at that time upstairs. I try to remember if I addressed the trash. I think we did address the trash. So it's like whenever I would say something to her, she would either have an attitude or she'd be like, I didn't do that, or so, we brushed that off. We just cleaned it up and went on about our day. And we stayed in these apartments for 6 years. So, as time go on, year or two, I can't give you accurate dates, but as time go on, every night, she would wait till we go to sleep, and she would throw stuff above our head while we sleeping. I mean, she was finding the hardest stuff to throw above us. Boom. And that's just not healthy. You jumping up out your sleep. And she ain't just do it to me. She did it to my children as well. And you can hear the impact from their room and my room. My children will wake up and jump up and come and tell me, Mom, somebody make... And we will walk in their room, and all you hear is stuff like this on the floor. Imagine you go in your children's room, and you hear this on the ceiling. Or you hear a thud hit the ceiling. Now, we heard it. We went in there, my children's room, we would hear it. And nobody can tell me her children doing that. This went on for years to me. Years. So, after taking note to that, we would hit the ceiling. Hey. Sometimes she would stop. Sometimes she wouldn't. I think after a couple of years, it might have been 2 years, we went to the office again. We go to the office. And at this time, there are new people in the office. I'll never forget it. 2 Latino women. I'm not going to get into my beliefs. I'm not going to get into what their beliefs was, but I will just tell you they didn't like me or my husband. And they only supported my neighbor. So we complained to the office again. Second time. Because we asked her to stop. We banged the ceiling. The office said, we're going to say something to her. Okay. So, remember I told you that at the beginning, me and the girl upstairs, we was friends, we was cool. So we still had each other's number. We just wasn't talking at this point, bitch, you taunting me, So, she calls me. I'm like, hello. She said, hey, the office just called my phone, and they saying that you keep calling the office complaining about me. I was like, excuse me? I said, what you mean keep? They said, yes, you keep calling up there. They telling me you keep calling them complaining about me. And I told her, I said, that's not true. I only came up to the office twice. And I ain't gonna lie, yes, I did call them once as well. I called. Yes, I called because they was trying to tell me, well, I guess for the notes that was from the first complaint. The new people in the office, when I called, the second time I found out they had new people in the office. So she was like, according to my notes, they told her to calm down and are you sure are you sure? I'm like, ma'am, I stay under her. So so when I say, if you come in here right now, you can hear the noise. That's what I made the phone call. For you to come to my office as proof. And I ain't gonna lie, the lady came to my apartment to listen for the noise. But by then, she's such a stalker and a watcher, the neighbor stopped the noise as soon as she came out from the apartment. Excuse me for the cursing. So, she couldn't get no proof because of that incident. She would stop it whenever the lady came in my house. So, like I said, I made a phone call. I went to the office with the old landlords, and I went to the office and I complained with the second landlords. And by the way, nothing ever was done to my neighbor, and things got worse. So Excuse me. Back to the phone call. I'm telling her, girl, I ain't constantly calling up there. I called up there once and I went up there twice. And I said it was gaps way in between. I said, and I came to you first twice and asked you to stop. I said, so yes, I went to the office and requested I move. And matter of fact, I want to put this in there. I told the people in the office, the new people, that I just want to move, but I don't want the girl to get kicked out. Like I said, she had children. I'm not evil like that. So she never mentioned that part. She just kept saying, "Are you trying to get me put out?" I said, "No, I'm not. But you're not respecting your neighbor downstairs." So me and her, we got into a heated argument. She started going off on me. I got effing children, and you got children too. And I used to stay under people too. You can't control how people do stuff. I said, yes, you can. And this is what I told her. And correct me if I'm wrong. I said, you not being considerate of others. And I told her on the phone that you need to start controlling your children. If you sit them down or if you know they making noise, instead of letting them do it, you're supposed to pick your children up and sit them down. Discipline them some kind of way. So she lost it. She runs downstairs, starts banging on my door. How I'm being inconsiderate. How I'm being rude. And she was out and I was like, ma'am, get from my door. This is no lie, this is a true story. I got my door cracked. Like I said, she's 8 years younger than me. And you think like 2-3 years might have went by. I'm in my 30s at this time now. Probably mid-30s. No, not mid, maybe 32. Because I might have been pregnant with my third child, to be honest. But anyway, because at this point she's pissed off. She's angry, and I'm way mature than her. So she's screaming and yelling, going to F off, and I'm like, can you please get from my door? So she's like, oh, now you want me to leave? Now you want me to go? Because ain't nobody trying to fight, girl, because these apartments, they will kick you out. I said what I said to you, but it shouldn't have got to that point to you coming at my door trying to fight me. Because on that phone call, I never said I'll beat your A. I never said bring your ass down here. Because even though I can take it there, but I never did that. Because at that time I had 2 children and I'm pregnant with 1. So she's going to F off on me. So I close my door and she finally walks off. And after that incident, like I said, things take a turn. Not only was she attacking me, she actually turned the neighbors against me as well. Lord have mercy. And remember I told you I was out there before, I lived out there before she moved out there? I had good neighbors out there. I used to babysit people's children in those apartments. I had good neighbors that was nice to me and I was nice to them. There were times when I had a car, I would give my neighbors a ride. She turned those neighbors against me. And I couldn't understand for the life of me, like, lady, did it take all this? I mean, she's a young girl, a hothead, young girl at that time, and she took things to an evil turn. Like, oh my God, like, where do I start? Okay. The apartments had her back. The landlord, the people in the office, she can do whatever she wanted to me, and they would never do anything. And at that time, I had got married to the guy that knew her. Me and him got married. And I saw what was going on. I saw the bullcrap. He was oblivious to it. Matter of fact, he was adding more mess to it. I'm not even sure if I should talk about that, but at that time, my husband didn't believe me. He thought I was jealous of her. He thought I was insecure. Like, what? I'm telling my husband, look, this girl has it out for me. She's attacking me. She's starting to mess with me. And this fool didn't believe it. So it became worse. We would go to bed at night and she would drop shit over our head. She would go above my bedroom. She would go above my children's room. Now, what kind of woman attacks children? I mean, let's be honest. It's what is this? So, like I said, she was taunting me. She was dropping things over my head. Could never sleep at night. Um, so what we would do is I started getting get back. And my husband, he thought I was crazy. I was like, no, the office won't help us. Boom, I got this shit. So this is what I would do. We knew what time she got off work. I watched her ass get out of her car, go in her room. Or you think you finna sleep? Soon as she got comfortable in her apartment, I went to banging the goddamn ceiling. You darn right. I banged the kitchen ceiling. I banged the bedroom ceiling. I banged our bedroom ceiling. Now her children was in school. I sure did. And she would come outside screaming, I can't get no rest. You shouldn't get no rest. You have messed about sleep for years. What makes you think you get to have sleep? All that mess you were doing to us. And then, remember when I said the walls were real thin? We heard her say that her man was an informant. Her and her dude got in an argument, and she said, you were an informant? I know you. So yes, her nigga was a snitch. She had an informant boyfriend, baby daddy was living with her. So with that being said, he had a little power. But leaving that alone, moving on to the next. Okay, so she would be pissed. There were times where she would come by and knock on my door. Like now it started being harassment. And this is what she started doing. If I came outside, let's say I come outside to sweep my porch, or I came outside to play with my children. This is what she would say under her breath. She would say it low, but enough for me to hear. She would say, damn, she nosy. I thought outside was free for everybody. She would say under her breath, she got her children out here snitching. Like, what? And yes, I ignored her because what she wanted was a fight. And I wasn't going to give her that. I got too much to lose. I'm pregnant, and did I have my baby? Not yet. I'm pregnant and big, and I got my 2 children. I think at that time she got pregnant after me. So me and her was back to back pregnant. I think the bitch did it on purpose. Because she's so damn evil. She's evil. People are out here to get you over petty stuff. So, she's saying these words about me. And I know where she's going with that. Okay? So she's telling her friend she nosy. Every time I come outside, she gotta come outside. So I'm like, what the hell? I'm just outside minding my business. And if I was to look out my blinds, right, peek out my blinds, look outside, this bitch would run up to my window saying, who that is peeking? It's like I couldn't do nothing in my apartment. Either I was a snitch, I'm being nosy, either I'm the one stalking. I couldn't do nothing. That's bullying and that's harassment. And my husband still could not understand where I was coming from. Listen to your wife, man. If your woman got good intentions and she's telling you that somebody's attacking her, believe her. Don't just blow it off. That's the worst thing to do. So, this lady did so much to me, y'all. The trash on my porch never stopped. The stomping, the throwing of toys, children running, never stopped. She even went out the way to have sex above my children in my children's room. I'm sorry. Above my children. My children, we did homeschool. And she know they did homeschool. So this is broad daylight, early in the morning. I'm not saying you can't have X. I'm not saying that. But people does not consider it. So My children had to hear them having sex all the time. And she would do it. She would purposely do it during the daytime while my children was doing school. And there were times where we had to keep switching my children's rooms because she would taunt my children and harass my children as well. It ain't just happened to me. She was taunting my children, and we would go in a room and hear her moaning, hear her husband, her boyfriend moaning. And my children had to come out at 7, 8 years old saying, Mom, they doing stuff up there. We can't do our schoolwork. What can I say? She's human. But I know, and my children knew she did it on purpose. That's a nasty bitch. She is nasty, disrespectful, and dirty. Called nasty. When I tell you hoarder. So, on multiple occasions, multiple times, it got so bad. And the apartments wasn't doing nothing. And I wanted to fight her. Yes, I did. I wanted to hurt this girl. But God told me, don't do nothing. I didn't do anything. It got so bad, we had to move our children. We had to make them sleep on the couch. We had to spend money to get anything because she kept doing things above my children's room. My children could not sleep. Like, sounded like she was throwing bowling balls on the fucking ceiling. So, the walls are so thin, like I said before. She would know that we switch our children's rooms. So, this is what she was doing. I mean, we didn't get no breaks. When she realized we was swapping rooms because you can hear the beds dragging, she would put her head, you could tell when a person put their head to the floor and listen what's going on in the apartment. And I'm going to tell you how I knew that. Because neighbors would say things to me. They would repeat things to me because she was telling neighbors my business. So we had to swap our children's rooms out. There were times when we went into their room and we put our children in our room, or we had one time we had all sleep in the living room. It got so bad in the bedrooms. She would find out we switched and she would bang noise above us where we was at. Constantly. Banging stuff over my head. Banging stuff over my children's head. Throwing stuff on my porch. Knocking on my door, running back upstairs. And the apartments allow her to do this to me because of what my faith was and who my husband was at that time. They allowed her to attack me, and they did nothing about it. It got so bad to where me and her, we started cursing each other out. But it didn't get physical. One day I went to the store. I'll come back like 30 minutes later. My husband telling me one of her girlfriends from upstairs came downstairs trying to flirt with my husband. Now, women, you know what that's about. If you know, you know about that. So I'm like, what? He said, yeah, some young girl came down here, talk about, do I have a comb? Now, keep in mind, I'm going to tell you, my husband, he's bald-headed. He said she came down half naked, flirting with him. So I knew my neighbor upstairs sent her girlfriend downstairs to F with my husband. And he told me he passed. He told her to get out he was like, I don't got no comb. I don't knock on my door no more. And that's when he realized that I was right the whole time. It took years for him to believe me. This girl had men trying to fight me in apartments. I'm a woman. I think I'm going to skip, I'm going to fast forward. I had my baby at the time. And do you think the noise stopped? No, it got worse. To me, she hates children. Who does that? So, this lady upstairs, she befriended everybody in the neighborhood. Told them lies about me. She told everybody in the apartments that I was a snitch, that I'm nosy. Now, everything she said, that's what she is. Girl, your baby daddy is an informant. Y'all the biggest snitch. So, with that being said, when you tell those kind of lies on people, yes, people want to fight you if they're in gangs. If people out there is affiliated with certain things, I'm in the hood. People go through street codes and shit. So by putting stuff out there that I'm a snitch, yes, you got people that hate me, that want to fight me and hurt me. So one day, I was babysitting one of my neighbors that never switched out on me. I was babysitting her two children. I would get them off the bus and I would take them in my house until my other neighbors till she comes home. Now this neighbor, we went to school together in elementary and middle school, and we had ran into each other out there in the apartments. But before I move on, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and I'm only at 44. The only reason why I'm saying that because my my phone may shut off. So please support me. I'm trying to build my channel. Okay, thank you. With that being said, let's move on. As I'm getting my neighbor's children off the bus, it's three guys outside. Now, one of them I gave him a ride before, and I've also had a conversation with them, and they also know who my husband is. Never had no beef with these men in my life. So I'm getting my neighbor's children off the school bus. As I'm walking back to my apartment, I hear one of the guys that I gave a ride to before. We've had a conversation. I hear one of the guys say, "Man, I ought to go over there and slap her." So I'm still not thinking he talking to me. Because, nigga, as far as I'm concerned, me, we alright. So he was like, she a DAM snitch. Man, that be a snitch. I know. He just kept going on and on. And I told the two children, I said, y'all go inside. Just go inside. So he was like, yeah, I'm talking to you. You hear me talking to you. You know I'm talking to you. Like, he was just going in. And I'm like, Lord have mercy. So I'm a female. I'm a woman. And I'm older than all three of them. And I'm sitting there on the porch. I'm like, Lord God, please help me. Because at this time, what do you do? I can't beat three men up. And like I said, my mouth back in the day was horrible. And it still is. My tongue is a weapon. Do you understand me? So it took everything in me not to say nothing to him. Because I know who started it. Because if you think about it, where is this coming from? Why is he saying this about me? And it's the thing. He never asked me. He just assumed. To be out talking to you, you fucking hear me talking to you, you be out there, like, going in. Yes, I told my husband. I went in. Now, mind you, I got somebody else's children. And you out here trying to fight me. You and your homeboys over there talking about me with no proof, with no evidence. You going by what this biatch say above me. So I'm like, wow, I can't believe this. This is going on. This happened to me. I don't mess with nobody. Oh my God. Y'all don't understand a half of it. So I go inside. I call my neighbor, the two children that I had. I call their mama. I say, look, so-and-so is out here trying to fight me, mean mugging me. And she was like, what? Because she knew who I was talking about. She was like, and you got my effing children? And you talking? She said, oh, hell no, I'm on the way. I'm on the way right now. And I was like, you know what? Don't even say that to him. She was like, I'm going to say something to him because that's dead wrong. And she was like, what that B is up there doing. So she out here neighbors. She out here, she got men attacking you. And I was like, don't worry about it. They're going to get theirs. She was like, no, you need to fight her. See, this neighbor, she really is about that. And I kept trying to tell her, if I fight her, I lose everything. So, y'all, in the midst of all this going on to me, God told me to be quiet and don't say nothing. I couldn't fight this girl. I gave up telling the officer on her because they protected her. I didn't call the police because that's too far. And meanwhile, one of my neighbors telling me to fight her. You need to give her a whooping. Ain't no, she was like, ain't no more talking, E. You need to whoop that ass. And she was, I'm surprised you ain't been whoop her. And I'm like, you don't understand. They just gave out letters saying, if you fight on property, you will get evicted. What was I supposed to do? Huh? I know some girls will fight her. I know some girls will drag her. But in the day, you get evicted. Then I'm losing my children. Anything could happen. So no, I didn't fight her. And I cried. Listen, let me tell y'all something. I cried every night. And you know why? Because I couldn't whoop that bitch ass. I'll be honest with you. I cried every night because I felt like, not that I was being a punk, I was being tested by God. And then God said, be strong, because I know you want to fight her, because I could have ended her life. And I didn't want to hit her so hard that she stopped breathing. Because that's all I saw. She got away with doing so much to me. And I still couldn't understand why. All because I told the people in the office that you would stop making noise. You had like I called the police. You would think I screwed her baby daddy or something. And y'all, it didn't stop there. She kept knocking on my door. So one day, oh yeah, I'm sorry, let me back up. I skipped something. All right. Okay. When I called my neighbor and told her what these three men was doing to me because of my neighbor, she couldn't believe it. And I told her I wasn't finna fight the girl. So I went outside because I ain't no punk. I went outside and I sat on the porch and he still was talking shit about me, but he never approached me. So guess what? As I'm sitting on the porch, he walks by me and looks at me in my face and starts shaking his head like one of these, like, yeah, I'm talking about you. And guess where he goes? Upstairs to her apartment. The biatch. We're gonna call her the biatch. So I knew then. She did it. Now, I knew him before she knew him. You see how easily people can be manipulated over a lie? That's why I don't lie on people. Because a lie can get somebody killed. A lie can really get somebody hurt. That's wrong. I don't do stuff like that. So now the neighborhood think I'm a snitch. Every time I go outside, people staring at me, pointing at me, saying things to me. Something like, if I get ambushed, I gotta be ready for whatever. It got so bad. And remember when I used to babysit people cheering out there? And people was constantly moving out, moving in, moving out, moving in. But these neighbors that stayed out there, I knew them before she knew them, right? I'm outside one day, y'all, sweeping my porch. I'm always clean because every time I come outside, that biatch got cigarette buzz on my porch. She smoked her cigarettes and she threw them down on my porch. Throw them down on my porch. So I was sweeping my porch off. And as I was sweeping my porch, the child that I used to babysit would come to my house all the time. Him and his woman is arguing on the porch. I'm not paying him no attention. I'm just sweeping my porch. Now, this particular couple, he beats his woman. So I'm sweeping my porch, and out the blue, her boyfriend calls me a bitch. I'm like, what? Out the blue, her boyfriend calls me a bitch. Yeah, you see that bitch over there? That line bitch over there? Just out the blue, y'all. I promise y'all. I'm like, what? And I ain't gonna lie, I snapped. I said, who you calling it a bitch? So I said, what I gotta do with y'all arguing? I said more stuff than that. And they were so shocked. because I was always quiet out there. As I'm over here minding my business, and you pointing at me, calling me a bitch. And I babysit y'all children and watch y'all child. All I done did for y'all son. And he went inside and closed the door. When I cursed him out decent, he went inside and closed the door, and she gave me a look like, mind your business. Baby, you better not say shit to me because your man was dead wrong. And I will whip your yellow skinny ass today. Because I had enough of everybody trying me. I was so hurt. I think I told my husband. And he was like, what? And I ain't gonna lie, he went up there and he checked him. He went up there. Oh yeah, let me back it up. To that time when I told you them 3 boys, when one of the men was saying stuff to me, calling me a snitch, and he ought to slap me. Yes, my husband came home and I told him the incident. My husband came home, posted up outside, and he said he was ready for them to come to him. One thing about my husband, he ain't no punk. He went outside and he asked to speak to the guy that was trying to attack me, and they didn't want to say nothing to him, no. Nobody want no smoke, but you got smoke with the woman. So now, there's about, okay, it was 3 men. That's 3, you have 4 neighbors attacking me already. Okay, guys, it gets worse. Yes, there's more. So, once her plan didn't succeed, nobody fought me. So that's what she was doing. She was trying to have everybody else fight her battles. The girl knocked on my door, never slept with my husband. She got pissed about that. She would randomly ask my husband if he want to ride. He would decline her. She got pissed about that. Throwing trash on my porch, and I never fought her. She was pissed about that. Having neighbors attack me. They never did nothing to me. She was pissed about that. Let me tell you something. How God don't play about certain people. Her goal was to get me kicked out. And God told me a long time ago, her goal was to get me to fight her so I can move out. But it never worked. Because it took everything in me not to fight this girl. Okay? Now we're going to go back and talk about this apartment thing again. When I say it got worse, it got worse. Remember when I told you her baby daddy always fighting? Always fighting. Always fighting. So, one day we in apartments, everybody's home, and we inside, and we hear something being thrown down, like from upstairs to downstairs, we hear something being thrown. So, common sense is being something thrown down from her to down to my apartment. And you can hear shoo, like a trash chute, something being thrown down. And we're like, what is that? What's that noise? That day goes by. Then the next day, you hear something going shoo, down from the wall, down to our wall. So I'm like, yo. That went on for about a couple of weeks. And we start to smell urine. And it was a small 2-bedroom apartment. 2 bed, 1 bath. When you come in, living room, to your left, bedroom. You come out the bedroom, to the left, kitchen. To the right, bathroom. Turn back around, straight across, our bedroom. So when you come into the living room, straight to the kitchen, we smell pee right there, right before you get to the bathroom. Like that main wall before you get to the bathroom, but before you get to the kitchen, you can smell urine right there. And I said, husband, she's throwing her children Pampers or pull-ups in the wall. He was like, get out of here. I said, remember we was hearing that shh, that drop noise? Yes, all that fighting, they gotta have a hole in the wall. They gotta have a hole in the wall. And when we have inspections, they covering the shit up with a goddamn picture. I ain't the smallest, but bitch, I ain't dumb. I said, she's throwing her Pampers in the fucking hole. He was like, get the F out of here. I said, yeah. Why, how else are you smelling pee? So, that's, to me, that's sick. So that went on. That went by. So one day, Y'all won't believe this here. So one day, we chill in the apartment. Me, my children, and my husband. They doing their little homeschool work. And we hear water pouring down. Like, it sounded like it was raining. We hear water like somebody just poured a big old pot of water down. You hear it shh. I said, she pouring water in the wall? And guess what? This bitch flooded my house. I ain't make a line of flying. Water just start coming from. I ain't gonna lie, I couldn't even tell where it was coming from because the sink wasn't clogged, the toilet wasn't clogged. We had to call the maintenance man over immediately, and he's trying to find out where it's coming from. So we put a complaint in. I went to the office. I said, look, she just poured water down the wall and it flooded my apartment. That's not, like I said, he's a Latino. That's not possible. I said, man, I'm telling you, I hear her. She poured it down, and a few moments later, water came from the bathroom to the kitchen. I said, every time we tell y'all something, y'all don't believe it. And she was like, let me come over there and see. This bitch, the landlord, comes to my apartment. But before she comes to my apartment, we realized she went upstairs and got the girl upstairs. The girl that's been harassing me and my family. She brings her to my effing door. And this is what the bitch say. What happened? My husband slammed the door in her effing face. And she was like, wait a minute. Now, y'all not going to slam the door in my face. I said, why the F would you bring her down here? We'll make complaints on her. Y'all know she's attacking our family. Y'all know what she's doing. And how dare you bring her down here? And I'm telling you, she did this to my apartment. Guess what? Nothing happened to her. The man couldn't find where the water came from. Couldn't find where it came from. So he just brought a bunch of towels in. He soaked it up. He rubbed it in buckets. But we still had to mop the water up. And guess once again, she got off the hook. Like I said, put two and two together. Her baby daddy's an informant. Hint, hint. He's an informant working for the police. He's a snitch. She's sleeping with a snitch. And she out here calling me a snitch. The office was backing her up because he's working for the police. Baby daddy, my husband, was a Black Panther. They are against Black Panthers. So she used the opportunity to attack us because she knew she wasn't going to get in trouble. And if you don't believe it, then I'm sorry you live in a damn bubble. She was being paid to attack us, attack me, to destroy our family, to get me to fight her so I can get evicted. But that didn't work. That's what that biatch did to me and my family. The banging never stopped. The nothing never stopped. But we kept banging too. When she got home, she never got no sleep either. She never got no sleep either. Comment, like, and subscribe, please. Please support my channel. My cash app gonna be somewhere in the description. So I can better talk to y'all. So I can have better equipment, because I got so many stories to tell y'all. It's gonna sweep you off your feet. Do you hear me? But yes, I'm doing good because I didn't bust out crying. Because I ain't gonna lie, I'm still hurt by this shit. I'm trying to see what else happened. Yeah, there was an incident where one day my children they left their window open one day. We didn't know it. Left their window cracked. So, like I said, how the apartment set up, that back room by the kitchen, we had switched their rooms to that room because she was making so much noise. We might have swapped rooms over 10 times. And she kept finding what room we was in. She kept making noise. So this particular time, they was in that back room. So their bedroom window is facing towards the back. Like the back of the apartments. If you go back there, then you want some sneaky shit. There's nothing back there. But like a little walkthrough. That's it. It's just the back door area. There's nothing really back there, and a gate. So if you back there, you ain't doing nothing. You know, our apartment was the first one on the edge. That's why our apartment was on the edge before you. When you coming out the apartments, our apartment was right there to the right on the edge. So if you back there, you want some bullshit. So one day, my churn, we went out somewhere, me and my family. We came back nighttime. And we come back in, guess what? One of my children's windows, the window is actually above the bed. Where he sleep, where one of my children sleep at, was against the window, like under the window. So when he came in his room to lay down, I sure it was my son bed and my daughter bed. They're a year and 6 months apart. So people used to always think they was twins when they were little. So my son said his pillow was soaking wet. You hear me? His pillow was soaking wet. I'm like, what? I said, you sure it's just not cold? Or because I think it was cold at that time. It was getting cold. He was like, no, Mom, it's wet like somebody poured liquid on it. So we had blinds. Didn't know the window was open yet. We go in the room. And I was, oh my God. So I'm scared. So I smelled the pillow. No smell. I said, so I pulled the blinds up. The window was cracked. Somebody went back there and poured water, hoping it was water, on my children's pillow. You see what I mean? Everything I went through, nobody helped us. Now, like I said, she must be 8 children. And I will say that bitch name on here, but I'm not going to say that bitch name on here. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But if you hear this, biatch, you know that I'm talking about you. You trifling. And God going to get you if he ain't already get you. Long story short, something happened to where we had to move out the apartment. We moved to another apartment out there. So she kind of stopped bothering us because we had to move to another unit. And there's another story about that, but I don't know if I'm going to tell that part. But we eventually moved on. And guess what? Now that bitch work at where I work at. She works at where I work at. 2025. I was like, I know you effing lying. You work at where I work at? Now, y'all tell me in the comments below, do I owe her an ass whooping? What would you do if somebody did this to you? Because somebody told me that I should let it go. Now, if you hood and you bought that life, would you let this go? Please be honest and don't be all holified and no, just be honest. Would you say something to her? Would you fight her? Would you slap her? Would you confront her? Because we never really dished it out. I think I owe her one. I think we should just see each other. Please comment, like, and subscribe below, please. And I got more story times to tell you. Yes, I'm in the dark because I'm still in the bed. My children are still asleep. And I'm tired. And I took a day off today. So, support my channel. I'm a struggling channel. Help me grow so I can better tell you better stories on a better device because I'm doing it from my phone. So, now I normally do ASMR. But this is my ASMR voice. And this is my regular voice. I can't believe I did this whole story in one take. But yes, what are your comments? What do you think about this story? Should I fight her? Let me know. Y'all have a good day. Thank you.